Hi, so hope I am audible and thanks for joining everyone. Okay, shall we start now? If you all okay guys, सबको आवाज आ रही है?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
thank you
Yes,
Navneet.
sir.
Yeah, all right, all right. Okay, so welcome you all in the session and today we are going to discuss the very important things that is the security stuff and we are going to just start the beginning of the security and one of the vendor that is the Palo Alto. We have a lot of vendor available in the market who are basically providing the security services, but some are the leader in the market like the Palo Alto and the FortiGate and checkpoints. So out of the leaders, we are going to learn about the one leader that is the Palo Alto Firewall. Okay, and we'll try to do the deep dive about the all the concept of the Palo Alto Firewall because today we are starting. So we go step by step how the Palo Alto Firewall is going to be look like, what is the basic concept, what is the firewall, and how this step by step Palo Alto Firewall is going to be configured, troubleshoot, and deployed. So entire this concept is going to be covered. We have the official curriculum for this particular Palo Alto session, and if you want to look, you can just look about that what you are going to get in this Palo Alto Firewall training module. And escape means in this particular session we are just covering two particular certification, that is a PCNSA and PCNSE. So both are like as per the Palo Alto certification program. It's not designed by us, it's official training program which is available on the Palo Alto website. If you want to see that, you can just go here and write here Palo Alto education. And if you go in the Palo Alto education, in this Palo Alto education, if you go here, and in this particular Palo Alto education we have the lot of level like the introductory, we have the intermediate, we have the advanced, we have the topics as a cloud security, network security, cyber security, security operations, you see cyber security, fundamental threat detection. So बहुत सारी चीजें हैं that you can see here, it is available, but you don't have to go with all. You just have to focus your first step of the security, that is the network security. This is the most important thing. So in this network security, if you just click it or might be apply the filter, you are going to find a lot of certification. Out of these lot of certification, two certification are very relevant for the any Palo Alto, like the engineers. If you want to build your career, if you want to learn about the Palo Alto firewall, that is the first certification is the PC and SA, that is a Palo Alto network certified network security administration. This is the first step. If you want to learn more about the syllabus, you just click it. You are going to get the entire syllabus introduction of this Palo Alto firewall, what you are going to cover. So if you go a little bit down, so in this little bit down, you are going to see like these are the topics you are going to cover, like what is the next generation firewall, and setup and management, connections, zone security, and NAT profile, NAT policies, zone security, security and NAT policies, protection profile, zone and DDoS. You are going to learn about this. In addition of that, you are going to discuss about the application ID to block threats, wildfire versus malware, just basic fundamental you are going to get here. Security profiles and security policies, how it is going to be applied, what does mean about this. Device ID to block the threats, security policies and the user ID to increase security, threat and traffic information. So these are like basic concept you are going to get inside particular this PCNSA, but not very advanced. You just think about if you want to learn the network and you want to become the network engineer, so first step you have to know about the networking fundamentals. What is the switch, what is the router, कैसे काम करते हैं, क्या इनके पीछे principles होते हैं, how basically they are going to communicate, how basic network is going to be look like, what is the basic way to configure the network, how basically internet going to work. So those fundamental you are going to get in the networking fundamentals, जिसके लिए आप कंपार्टिया के कोर्स करते हो, कुछ हार्डवेयर कुछ नेटवर्किंग का सीखते हो, या CCNA में आप जाते हो, तो वहाँ पे आपको बहुत सारे बेसिक फंडामेंटल्स यू आर गोइंग टू गेट फ्रॉम देयर. Similarly, in this particular Palo Alto firewall, if you want to learn something about the basic security principles, you can start with the PCNSA. Once you done this PCNSE exam, then you have the second step of the PCNSE, that is here. Let me see, it must be available somewhere. Yeah, this is exam. So Palo Alto Network Certified Network Security Engineer. So this is the advanced thing. So if you learn about this PCNSA, so it is just describing it. Palo Alto Networks technology is the highly integrated and automated. The Palo Alto Networks product portfolio comprised multiple separate technology working unison to prevent the successful cyber attack. Please mute, guys. And those who earn the Palo Alto Network Certified Network Security Association (PCNSA) certification demonstrate their ability to operate the Palo Alto Network firewall to protect network from the cutting-edge cyber threat. So that means if you are going to learn this basic foundation of the certification, you have the ability to start your career in the Palo Alto Network, and you are going to support the operation of the Palo Alto Network, right? But if you want to go for the next level, you want to become the L3 engineer, you want to become the L4 engineer, and you want to go some extend level of the migration, troubleshooting and deployment, new firewall configuration and all, in that scenario, you must have to do the certification, that is the Palo Alto Network Certified Network Security Engineer, that is a PCNSE. So इस certification के अंदर if you want to go and check that what I am going to learn about it, so you are going to find some advanced topics. So if you go here and check what is this Palo Alto Networks Certified Network Security Engineer, so you can see here you're just going to learn about next generation firewall setup and management connections. You are going to learn about the zone and security in the NAT policies. You are going to learn about the protection profile and zone profiles, like and the DOS attack protection, app ID to block the threats, wildfire versus the malware. Again, this is the advanced. This topic also available in the PCNSA, but you are going to learn about this lab testing, how it is going to happen, configuration point, how it is going to happen, security profiles and the security policy, device ID and the block threats, right? Security policy and the user ID to increase the security, how the user ID is going to be integrated, how the AD is going to be integrated, introduction of the firewall through the management and panorama, you are going to get understanding here, and how to manage the firewall from the panorama template device group, how it is going to create it. So like even you are going to get the panorama and advanced thing of this particular Palo Alto firewall. So same by looking at this particular content, that is the Palo Alto education, its official documentations, we prepare our training program, and this is going to complete package for the PCNSA and PCNSA. So you don't have to go many like the training companies are offering that the PCNSA is separate module and PCNSA is a separate module, where they are just going to give 1.5 month training or 2 month training for the PCNSA and 1.5 and 2 month training for the PCNSA. But most of the things you are going to repeat because the relation of the topics are going to be how can I say interlinked between these two courses. Let's suppose you are going to learn about the security policy. So in the PCNSE, you are going to learn about the basic fundamental of the security policy. But if you go in the PCNSE, then you just go to deep dive and how it configure, how it troubleshoot. So why not we can go both of the things in the one go. So at least you understand how the policy is going to look like, what is the fundamental of the policy, and the same time how the policy is going to be configured, right? What is the next generation firewall, what is the stateful stateless firewall. So by considering, you can see these are the modules we have
Hello.
designed. In this module, total 12 section we have, and entire this section we have the different
तो
topics.
पहला डेमो है वही लेते हो
Rahul, you asking something? Okay, let me mute Rahul. I believe, guys, if you have any question, please feel free to raise your hand. I'll give the chance to speak with me. Okay. So now, if I go for the section for this module, right? So in this particular section of this particular training module, you are going to learn about the detailed about the platform and the architecture of the Palo Alto firewall. You are going to get how the packet flow is going to be happen one by one, like the packet is going to be how processed from the firewall. When the packet is going to receive from the firewall, then what is the first step the firewall is going to do with this packet? What information they are going to extract? how the packet is going to further process. If there is an error in the packet, then what is going to be happen with those packets? When the firewall inspection is going to apply, what does means firewall inspection? And if the firewall inspection is going to happen, what is going to happen with those packet? If firewall inspection is not going to happen, then how the packet is going to further processing? What is the fast path? What is the slow path? What is the application identification? What is the content identification inspection? And then how the firewall is going to process the packet from the egress interface, that is the out interface, to just reach to destination. So this entire packet flow, it's look like very complex, but trust me, 80 and 90% when you go for the Palo Alto interview, many of the question is going to ask from this particular packet flow. So you must be very clear about the step-by-step packet flow, how Palo Alto Firewall is going to process the packet flow, what is the step-by-step like packet is going to be processed from the different section, like the slow path and fast path. Okay, so this section is going to cover inside of this packet flow logic. Single pass architecture means what is the firewall architecture? Means this architecture is going to define how the firewall is going to look like in terms of the architecture. Means physical architecture, hardware architecture, what is the single pass parallel processing things, how different engine has been classified in terms of the software, in terms of the hardware, in terms of the entire this application engine which is associated with the like the software, that is OS. So how any packet is going to become in this particular firewall, then how basically it is going to be processed, when networking is going to happen, how the networking is going to process, what processor is going to use for different particular packet. Like I have the some kind of the signature matching, like I want to just check the vulnerability, I want to check the any kind of the virus, malware, spyware, and which signature matching is going to be happen, which kind of the RAM is going to be used. In term of the I want to do some kind of SSL and IPsec packet processing, then which processor is going to come in picture. And if I want to do some kind of the networking things, like the I want to configure the route lookup, or my I just want to do the route lookup, QS configuration, MAC lookup, NAT, then which processor is going to come in the picture. So this architecture is going to give a view, like any packet is going to enter in the firewall, then how the different hardware come in a picture to just do their role to just process the particular packet. So these things we are going to understand in this particular architecture section, and this is my single pass architecture with the parallel processing. So these section are purely theoretical steps, right? But these theoretical steps are very important, and it must be known by the any of the engineer to just clear any of the interview. So if you want to just clear the interview, you must know about this. Then we move to the initial configuration of the firewall. And when I talk to initial configuration of the firewall, so we'll start in this way. Let's suppose I don't know कि आपने कभी firewall देखा है, right? I'm assuming आपने कभी firewall नहीं देखा है. So first thing I'm going to explain how basically you are going to do the firewall like physical verification. कभी आपको कोई डिवाइस देखना है, so you must know about the Palo Alto firewall. So I'll explain about that because we all are doing the virtually, right? So we must know how firewall is going to look like and what are different physical component available on the firewall. So we can take any of the firewall, like I just click this firewall, and you see if I just click this firewall, I'm going to get the bigger diagram here. So see, this is the firewall, right? So in initial, before we are going to do the initial configuration, we must have to understand different architecture of the firewall. Means when I talk about different architecture of the firewall, so I have the complete set of the different firewall. We'll just do the comparison analysis. If I go a little bit down, so we have we have the 220 firewall, we have the 820 firewall, 850 firewall, right? We have 3250 firewalls, right? We have the 5280 firewalls, 5260, 5250. We have the highest version, that is the most powerful firewall of the Palo Alto, is the 7050 or 7080. So different version of the firewall we have. So we also have to understand, being a security engineer, which firewall you are going to recommend for your company. Suppose करो कि आप एक implementation engineer or designer हो company के लिए. So different model available in the market for the Palo Alto firewall. Is it not necessary you just go and buy the high end models because it is going to took lot of cost. So आपको उतने पैसे देने की जरूरत नहीं है, आपके 10 यूजर हैं, so why you are going to buy this particular 7050 firewall. So when you are going to purchase the firewall, you just have to consider what is my requirement, right? And how this requirement is going to fulfill and which firewall is going to be good for me to just fulfill this requirement. So that's why you have to understand about the all feature. What is the speed of you are going to get from this firewall for the IPsec tunnel? What is the maximum session you are going to get? How many SSL VPN you can create? What is the virtual router capacity? What is the security zone capacity you have? How many maximum policy you are going to create. So we just do the like comparison analysis for these all firewalls step by step. But before doing this comparison analysis, we must know about the hardware architecture as well. We know about the logical architecture, we know about the physical like the logical architecture in terms of the parallel processing, logical packet flow, but at the same time we must know about the hardware architecture. So when we move this particular section about the initial configuration, in this we have to understand basically how my physical firewall is going to look like. So I'll try to show multiple version of this firewall by using this. We also have the real firewall, we must be seen in some day in the video as well. But in this particular section you can see we have the this particular firewall front panel, and in this panel most of the things you are able to see that this side we don't have much thing, right? Let me, this side we don't have much thing, we also not have just these are the box. But if you talk about the back side, you are going to find two important things, that is a power supply. Okay, might be this side or might be this side, dual power supply you are going to get. So what is the power supply? So this power supply is just going to connect the power source of the firewall. So firewall is going to get the power from the your electricity department, whatever you have. So once the firewall is going to be powered, you have the button also backside of the firewall, you just have to turn on the button. Once you turn on the button, this firewall is going to get the power and this LED is going to glow, right? So different status we have, you can see power, we have fans, we have the alarms, we have temperatures, we have the HA. So we must have to know in which condition which type of the of the color of LED we are going to get here. Probably you are going to get in the red color, or might be the green color, most of the case green, and might be the amber color, right? Three colors are going to be available. So if my LED is the green, then what is the meaning of that particular LED? If my LED is going to be red, then what does mean? If my amber LED, then what does mean, what action I have to take? So we have to understand those parameters also. At the same time, we have the different console. One console is this, one console is this. Why we are using two console type? What is my management interface? What is the relevance of the management interface? Why we use this USB interface? What is the special use case to use this USB interface? Then we have this HA, high ability 1 and 2 port. What does mean HA? And we have a dedicated chapter for the HA in our course curriculum as well. So if I go here, if you see here, we have the HA. We have the two section of the HA. One is the active passive, one is the active active, and both we are going to cover. And we have to understand what is the active passive and what is the active active, and which scenario we can use the active passive, which scenario we are going to use the active passive. So in this active and active passive, these ports are going to play a very vital role. So we also understand how these are going to be connected in the firewall, and what is the control link, what is the data link, and how they are going to make the HA1 port, HA2 port, and HA3 port. You can see. So there is HA3 port also, which is not mentioned. So we have to configure some other link for the HA3, or might be we have some special port, that is the HACI port, right? High speed control interface, that is going to use for the HA2 or HA3. That is not available on this firewall, but some other firewall version, that is dedicated port, you are going to find that also higher end of the firewall. So that also we have to understand. Okay, and the same time we have the different copper port. You can see that we can connect with the RJ45 cables, and these copper ports are going to connect for the WAN and the LAN as well. And this is the fiber port that is also going to connect LAN and WAN. So we understand which scenario we can use the copper, which scenario we're going to use the like the fiber, and what is the benefits we are going to get that from using this particular copper port as well. So why these are the very important, because when you're starting the career and you don't have the right direction to visualize the product, so you might be always going to face the issue. Okay, so this is my personal recommendation. When you start anything to learn, you first have to visualize. जैसे आप लोग कोई चीज देखते हो, आप कितना भी थ्योरी पढ़ लो, right, it is not going to come in your mind, but when you see any picture, right, means you visualize the things, it is going to give the long memory. एंड वो आसानी से, कोई आप मूवी देख लो, कोई आप वेब सीरीज देख लो, आपको पूरी स्टोरी बहुत सालों तक याद रहती है, एंड यू कैन इजली एक्सप्लेन इफ यू गो एंड वॉच एनी video songs. You can entire relate how many like the section available in the video in different photography, like different scenes. So वो चीजें आपको याद रहती है. बट आप ऑडियो सॉन्ग सुन लो तो आप जस्ट गाना याद कर सकते हो, बट यू कैन नॉट विजुअलाइज द पिक्चराइजेशन ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर सॉन्ग्स. So that's why I always prefer to just visualize the things in term technology. आपको पता होना चाहिए कि कौन सा component कैसा दिखता है and what is the basically component available in that particular product. And when you just do the configuration in virtual environment, so you can understand this cable might be connected in that place in your brain. So that's why this initial configuration is very important when we going to do that particular step by step configuration of the firewall. So when we learn about this particular firewall component, then we start doing the firewall configuration. So for doing the firewall configuration, we have the labs and in these labs we start with day 0 firewall configuration. Means we just have something and we just do either day 0 firewall configuration. Let's suppose I have the very new firewall. So in this new firewall, how I can do the step by step configuration? What is my first step to do the firewall configuration? And how my cabling is going to connect it? Means this is the brand new firewall. If you bring this brand new firewall in your organization, so how basically first time you're going to interact with the firewall? What is the requirement? Which type cable is going to require? Which type device is going to require? What command you have to run? And what type of the cable you are going to connect? So that is very important, and that we are going to learn in day 0 lab, because day 0 is going to give the insight of the firewall configuration. Okay, so I hope you are going to understand these all concept, and lab is going to be accessible from the anywhere of the world. You just require the internet access, and after just connecting the internet access, you just have to access these URLs, and you just have to put your username and password. It is going to be accessible, right? So almost all labs are ready here. Even you want to customize some lab, just let us know, we help to customize as well. But I believe it is not going to be required, because already variety of labs are available in our lab sections. You just have to play with those labs. Entire things is going to be tested. Okay, so moving next. Till now, anyone have any question, guys? Almost 25 minutes I'm speaking. Any question anyone have about this concept, about the basic foundation and the course curriculum?
Yeah, I have.
Yes, Suraj, please go ahead, please.
Yeah, I just want to know whether the initial configuration, as you said, are you going to use a serial cable, right? The normal serial cable, which will be available for any of the firewalls, right?
That's a good question. See, so when we just do the configuration, right? So definitely, if you want to do the basic configuration the first time, the brand new firewall, so we have the console cable. Console cable come with the serial where the COM port is going to be required, right?
Correct.
So same when you configure the router and switch, the same console is going to use for the serial. Let's suppose you want to connect with the putty session. So in the putty session, you just have to use this serial, and you just have to select the COM, and you have to select this. So you just have to connect and just do the basic serial configuration of the firewall. So you are right, Suraj.
So in that serial configuration, then we will be just giving the management interface IP only, or
No. That's the key thing. So I'm going to management is something different, and this serial is something different. Let me explain. That's a very good question, and this is what initial configuration is always going to be understand. Just give me 1 second.
Yep.
Okay, so see, there are two things. One is a CLI, that is a command line interface. One is a GUI, that is a graphical user interface. So when you access the device via the CLI, okay, when you want to access the device with the CLI, then you have to use this console cable, this console port or this console port. Both are the serial, just type of the connector are different. This is the RJ45 and this is the C type of the connector. So either of these you are going to use via your PC or laptop, whatever you want to do that. So you must be use the putty software or secure CRT, whatever you want to use, just do that, and with the help of the serial cable. In that case, you are going to use the CLI access of the firewall. Means all configuration is going to happen via the CLI. You just have to run the commands. Let me show you if this firewall is ready to use. Let me check. So this firewall IP is 93. So let me try. Let me see. Oh, sorry, I took the wrong IP address. 39, not 39, 93. 192.168.1.93. See, so now I am inside of the firewall. See, so this is my CLI access of the firewall, and this section I have taken is a console of the firewall. So I can run any like the command, like I just want to check the interfaces, I want to check the routing. So routing routes, so I can check the routes as well, and any other like so system info. If you want to check the detail of the firewall, what version firewall is running, what is my management IP address, you can see here. So this is my IP address, this is the management IP address. And if you want to run the so interface management as well, this is also going to show the exact management IP address and default gateway and all. So this is also available. So that means right now I am doing the firewall configuration or testing via the console, because I am the virtually connected of this firewall. So my HTML console is just, guacamole that is running between this hypervisor and my computer, that is acting as a console plane. But if you want to do for physical firewall configuration, in that you have to use the console cables, and in that console cable configuration means via the console cable you can do the configuration via the CLI. So this is clear, right, Suraj? So this is for the CLI configuration.
Correct.
But when you talk about the management interface, so this management interface is used for the GUI configuration. Means if you want to access this firewall via the GUI, you want to take the firewall access via the GUI. So you have to always connect this interface via RJ45. This is the only option available. And then you have to connect one side of the firewall as your PC or computer, whatever you have. So they have the same subnet IP address, and then you have to ping this IP, and then you can just go in the browser and just type HTTPS, right? And whatever the IP address you have, you just type and you're just going to get the firewall access. Let me show you. So right now, if I want to access this firewall, right now I have the console access by the CLI, but I want to access by GUI. So I use the management IP address, which is configured on the firewall, and I just have to go here HTTPS, and I'll put the IP address 192.168.1.93. So this is going to give the GUI access of the firewall. So these are two different things. Clear?
Yep.
Okay. Any other question? Anyone have?
One more thing. So when I see the interfaces, so we have a couple of four interfaces, and you are going to run VLANs on that interface, right? And when we configure those things like LACP and all, so when we consider the interface strength, then we have to go ahead with the, for example, when you are say running this firewall for data center operations, like you have LACP channels, which will be in a STP block the scenarios and all this stuff. So then in that case, so we have to consider the sizing as per the requirements, right?
Right. So see, LSCP you can configure. The same concept is going to use when you do for the same configuration PHGP and LSCP for the switch link aggregation.
Yep.
So PHGP is Cisco proprietary, so it is only going to work for the Cisco devices.
Yeah.
But if you want to aggregate the Palo Alto Firewall links, let's suppose I have the, let me show you via this diagram so you can understand. These are the 1 gig ports, right?
Yes.
This, and these four. And you want to connect one of the server or might one of the device which have the 4 gig interface here, right? 4 gig.
Okay.
So probably you can connect these all four interfaces, right, together and make the like the AE interface, aggregated interface. And by
Right.
doing this aggregated interface, these all are going to make that 4 gig connection with this particular device, and 40 Gbps traffic you are going to transfer. And this is going to achieve via the LSCP protocol. That is the open standard. So absolutely we can do that.
Got it. That's all from my
Yeah.
side. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Cyber Alok, Ashok, you want to ask something? Nalendra, what is the full name of Cyber? May I know your full name? Okay, leave it. So I was talking about the initial configuration. So in the initial configuration, we understand how the firewall is going to initially configure, how the configuration management is going to happen of the firewall, licensing and software upgradation process. We just have to understand when we purchase the firewall, is it not necessary you have the all license, because the companies who just selling the product, they have the more or major revenue from the license. So if you want to enjoy the premium service of the particular product, means premium feature of the particular product, you have to pay the premium money as well. When you purchase the firewall, they give some basic features, right? Might be your routing is going to work, your policy is going to work, minimum you have the virus and threat is going to be protected. But if you want to do something like advanced, if you want to do something advanced, let me show the advanced things. What is the advanced thing? So you just have to take the licensing part as well. So you just have to go the license, and this license having a lot of things. First, that your VM license, Bright Cloud URL
जाहिद
filtering.
स्पेलिंग क्या है सर ZYAD की है
Sorry.
ठीक है
Okay. So you have the Bright Cloud license, you have the DNS security, you have the Global Protect Gateway license, you have the Global Protect Portal license, you have the PanDB URL filtering license, you have the premium license, SD-WAN license, threat prevention, Cortex data lake. So wildfire license, these all license you are not going to get by default when you are going to purchase the firewall. But based on your requirement, you have to purchase this license, and when you are going to purchase this license, you have to pay money. So that's why this license management also you have to understand, and same time you also have to understand how step by step my software upgradation process is going to happen for the firewalls. Means if my firewall is running on this particular code 10.0.3 or 2, then how I can upgrade and downgrade. So this process also very interesting, and you should clearly know, because people just think the upgradation and downgradation is the single step process, but in Palo Alto it's a very complex process. And if you're not going to if you're not going to do the right path to upgrade and downgrade the firewall, might be your end of the outage, or might be your services is going to be down, right? So you must have to be correct path how to upgrade and downgrade the firewalls. Next, account administrations. This is also important. When I have the multiple level of the resources working in my company, like I have the L1 resource, I have the L2 resource, I have the L3 resource, how I can delegate my administration right? L1 जो है हमारी कंपनी में है, he might need that kind of the access where I can just simply go and connect my firewall with the limited resource access, where I can just put the report, pull the report. I can just some basic checks. I can do some basic checks. I can do some kind of the other kind of the log filtering features. So small access I can give, but L2 have the more feature. He can do little bit configuration. L3 have the full access. So those is going to cover under account administrations. Once we have this kind of the knowledge, platform and the architecture, then we start doing the interface level configuration, and these are the actual starting configuration of the firewall. Means how the security zone is going to be configured. What does mean security zone? Why basically we need a security zone, and what is the importance of the security zone? Because this firewall Palo Alto is known as a zone based firewall. any interface you are going to configure within the Palo Alto Firewall, your is it really my voice is not audible to everyone? Nalendra is saying my voice is not audible.
It's okay. It's okay for
No,
us.
sir, it is audible. It is
It's
completely
audible.
audible.
Okay, okay. So might be Nalendra, you have to check from your end. Why might be you have internet or some mic issue? Please check that. So we just do the security zone configuration, means every interface you are going to create except the HA, that interface must be mapped with the security zone. Either it's a physical interface, logical interface, virtual interface. That logical and virtual is going to be same. So those must be mapped with the security zone, and by default one zone traffic cannot be traveled to another zone. What is the logic behind it and why it is happening, and how we can overcome these problems? So those we have to understand in the policy section, and by default what is the default policy available in the Palo Alto Firewall, and how we can override those policy if it is going to require. Then we just have to configure the layer 2, layer 3 virtual wire. These are the new things. Might be you heard the tab mode interface. So you have to understand which scenario virtual wire is going to come in a picture, in which scenario tab mode interface is going to come in a picture, and the layer 2, layer 3 is normal. If you want to do the you want to use a Palo Alto Firewall as a switch, then you have to configure the interfaces as a layer 2, and by default 99% case you are going to configure Palo Alto Firewall with a layer 3 interface, because you have to assign the IP, and once you assign the IP of the any of the interface of the firewall, you must have to make the interface type as a layer 3. So you can see here this, if you go for any interface, there are 4 type of the option available. Basically not 4, there would be 5 type. Come on, why it's not showing? Okay, it's coming. Let me show you here. It's a little bit slow.
Sir, I have one question.
Yes, Arjun, please ask.
If we suppose that if we connect our primary device from firewall, then
Mhm.
if we use any cloud PC or the virtual machine in that uh, device, then is it possible firewall could protect that virtual machine's algorithm also? Yeah, it is. It will not.
Let me draw your topology. Probably I can explain in better way. Just give me 1 second.
Okay.
I'll take your question. Let me show you first. So you see here, so these are the interface. You have the tap mode, you have the HA, virtual wire, layer 2 and layer 3. So HA is the special type interface. We understand later stage what is the HA and why it is going to be used. And layer 3 and layer 2 definitely. So that's why you can see here we have a different type of the interface, and HA is in the last, we'll understand. So these are going to be configured on the interface level. Now I'm going to the Srijan questions. He is asking about what is your question, Srijan? Can you just tell me?
Yeah, if primary device is connected with firewall, I mean protected with firewall. If we use any virtual machine or a cloud PC in that device, so it is possible that firewall could protect that virtual machine or cloud PC algorithm also. If we do any command, if we do any third party access, and which is blocked in main PC, and we can access in that virtual machine.
Okay, so let's think about this is your one of the server. Okay,
Yeah,
these are the virtual PCs. Okay, these 3 devices. Make sense?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
This
definitely.
this server is connected with this particular firewall. So we have just
Hmm.
one L3 interface which is connected with this particular firewall. Make sense? And these 3
Yeah.
devices are belong to the same network. Means they have the 172. We have the 172.16.10.0/24 network. And one IP is just 10 is this, 11 is this, and this might be not required any IP because the layer 2 switch. So even they are the virtually, and this is the big server, right? This is the big server,
Yeah.
physical server, right? Or might be the cloud. This having the IP address might be the 172.16.10.9. Okay. So you have the connection between these physical box, and further we have the logical connection with these different devices. So see,
Mm.
the firewall is going to receive the packet through this physical box from internal virtual device, but the packet
Mm.
is going to come with the IP address, the source IP address, and based on the source IP address, if you configure any policy, then policy is going to come in a picture, and those policy definitely going to be either allow and either block in the firewall. So it doesn't mean from which device you coming, virtual or physical. Firewall
Yeah.
understand those device based on the IP address. They don't know the physical and virtual. They just understand the IP, MAC, and the application and other different content, whatever you have. So it is going to recognize and it is going to protect its region. Clear?
Okay. 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 Yeah. Got it. Thank you.
Welcome, Sujan. So we have this layer 3, layer 2 virtual wiretap, sub interface, DSCP virtual router. This is the most important things in the Palo Alto firewall. We have the special routing engine available within the firewall. Let's suppose you purchase this firewall. Inside this firewall, you have the small router available in the firewall. Okay, or this router can be multiple, 1, 2, or might be more than 30-40 routers. Let me show you what is the maximum virtual router we can create. Let me show you. I believe 225 virtual router we can create. Let me show. So you can create up to 225 virtual router. Means within the one single firewall, you can create the multiple virtual router. Means these routers are normal to the Cisco router. They can do all the routing. Means what? Like you want to configure the static route, you want to configure the dynamic route, like the RIP, OSPF, BGP. These three support. You can configure it easily. And one router by default cannot communicate to another router. So we just have to do some advanced integration where we can link the route from the one router to another router, and by doing that you can just offload the traffic from the one device to another device, and then finally we'll go for a destination. So this is also available, and this concept is always going to require when you just want to process any traffic. The three things is the key things in the Palo Alto firewall. The first, always routing is going to be checked. If there is no routing, your packet is never ever going to process. So being a firewall engineer, I'm again saying you must have the very good routing knowledge, at least static routing, OSPF little bit knowledge, because it is always going to require. If you want to go internet, you just have to either use the BGP or the static route by default gateway. And if there is no routing, forget about any other things. The first packet is going to check the forwarding lookup, that is the L3 route. If routing is okay, then only NAT policy going to come in a picture, and the security policy is going to come in a picture. If there is no route, nothing is. That's why the virtual router is very important. And in this virtual router, you should know how basically inside of the Palo Alto firewall virtual router is going to configure. And in this virtual router, if you just go inside this virtual router configuration, you are going to find the BGP configuration, you are going to find the RIP configuration, you are going to find the static route configuration. It will be slow, I'll show you later stage, but this is going to be available in the virtual router section. So if I just see here, you just click it and see this is the RIP configuration, OSPF, that's the OSPF v3, BGP, multicast as well, and a static route. How this static route is going to be going, this is also available. Right. Next, we have this advanced feature, that is the security NAT policies. In this security NAT policies, we understand step by step how the security policy is going to be configured. What is the fundamental of the security policy? What is the zone? What is the different address type? Why you use the universal rule type? Why you use the intra-zone, inter-zone, description, tag, audit, source? We have the different field like the source zone, source address, source user, source devices. We have destination zone, destination address, destination devices. We have the applications. We have the URL category. We have the services default like the HTTP, HTTPS, different services. And then finally, we have the actions, allow, block, drop, reset client, reset server, reset both client and server. We have the different profiles. So everything we are going to cover. Like these are the profiles. For the advanced content inspection, if you want to do that, then how it is going to happen, what is the prerequisite for this all, and how basically virus is going to be captured. It's not the theoretical, we do everything in the lab section as well. So we will go and do the step-by-step configuration, how this lab is going to be configured and how this all testing is going to be happen. So this is all about this particular security policy configuration, security policy administration, NAT source destination, U-turn NAT, and dual NAT. So 4-type NAT also we are going to configuration, like the how we can configure the source NAT, destination NAT, U-turn NAT, and dual NAT. And the next, the advanced feature, application ID. So these all are part of this, the application identification. The same thing, it is just in the syllabus as well.
Sorry for interruption.
Yes, Suraj?
In the application ID, you can create your own signatures, right? Yeah. So you can customize.
There is two thing.
Yeah.
There is two thing. Signature we can create by on, and application also we can create by on. So signature is something different. Application is something different. So you just have to understand between these two differences. It's not like application is not signature, signature is not application.
Okay.
So we can create our custom application here, right? And we can define some signature mapping within this particular application. But if you just check about the signatures, signatures could be for the virus, antivirus, vulnerability. These are the wildfire. These are the like basically work on the signatures. If you go for this particular vulnerability protections, they have a lot of signatures. Antivirus, they have a lot of signatures. So you can see if you saw the signatures, you have this much signature, 15,639 signatures are there. So these signatures are for the vulnerability signatures. Similarly, we have the anti-spyware signatures. Similarly, we have the antivirus signatures. So we should know, even I want to create my own signatures for this vulnerability protection, how it is going to happen. If I want to get my own signature for the anti-spyware, how I can create my own signature for this. So if I want to create my own signature for the anti-spyware, I can create a signature. I want to create for the vulnerability, I can create my signature from here. But for the application, I can create my own application. I can match some signature parameter on that particular application. If this particular signature is going to match in particular this application, I can take certain actions. So those also we can test, and definitely I'm going to create this signature. You can see I created manually this signature for this previous batch testing. So this is the spy test. This is the signature is created by me. And we tested when someone is trying to do spying activity in my network, then how I can just, see this is a signature and condition. You can see this is the going to check in the HTTP header of particular my packet. Anything is going to happen, and this pattern is going to find in my header, any transition is going to happen between the source and destination. And if this pattern is going to find, my firewall have to detect this is something happening wrong in my network, and this is going to be captured. So that's the signature is created for the anti-spyware. Similarly, I have created.
After capturing, will it discard the packet or give an alert?
It's up to you. If you want to take the alert, it is going to alert. Just alert is going to show in this particular section, monitor section. If you want to just block the traffic, then it is going to block and alert at the same time. So
something like a guest VLAN when we configure, so when we route the VLANs to guest VLAN, we can create our own signatures and make it happen like this. Then allow to the production network, right?
Right.
Got it.
So you can see different virus spyware we have captured already.
Yep.
And this has been protected in the firewall. So already we have done testing in the previous batches, and data filtering, if you check that, this is also available. See, some text file we blocked, some PDF file we blocked. So everything is going to be tested. Just
so we don't have a sandbox thing like other firewalls offer.
Sandbox is nothing. Sandbox is basically, it's a subscription tool by the Palo Alto, right? You have to take sandbox feature where you can just connect for the any kind of the real time, like just take as a wildfire as example, zero day attack. You want to protect anything from the zero day attack, then the sandbox going to come in a picture. So in this case, we have just integrated the sandbox in our, let me show you. So if I go for the wildfire analysis, so see, this is actually going to connect with this particular public cloud. So this is sandbox.
Yep.
So this public cloud is nothing. It's a just available if I go in the devices. Let me show you and go in the setups. We'll cover in later stage this all, right? And if you just go for the wildfire, so you see this is a sandbox. This is the IP address sandbox. If you go and try to do the NS lookup and check that, it is going to like convert in the public IP address. So this is sandbox. If you have this license, it is going to work for you.
Got it.
Similarly, if you want for the any kind of the URL filtering, so URL, there is no such like PAN-DB server, no IP. But if you go here in this particular operation or services, you're going to find this update server. So this is going to get all the feature or latest progress about that, you know, Palo Alto Firewall signature and everything from this server. So this is also acting as a sandbox. Telemetry data also from the update servers. So different section we have DLP. You can see this is again going to integrate with the update server, but wildfire having a separate. So these are sandbox. It's already integrated with your firewall. Just you have to take the license and it is going to connect over the internet and the data is going to be sent back and forth and your session is going to inspect it and they are going to give some latest signature or like protection for the network.
Similarly for DDoS attack, we can create the L2 attacks or something like that, right? From L3 to L2, right?
DDoS is something different thing, right? So you can say DOS production. So DOS production is again for your content ID, right? And this DOS production, we have the DOS profile. What type of the DOS you want to protect? If you want to protect TCP DOS attack, right? So this is SYN flood. So you have to create the TCP flooding profile here. You want to protect from the UDP, so UDP production. If you want to protect from the ICMP here, ICMP v6 and other IP. So these are the type. There is no L2 things. Based on the TCP, UDP and ICMP and other IP, flood is going to be happen. If you want to protect, there is two flavor, aggregate and classified. We have to create the profile and then we have to create the special policy for this DOS. So if I go here, DOS protection, we have the special policy for DOS. And this policy is further going to apply based on the source destination, whatever you created, and then the production is going to apply based on your classified or aggregator. This also we created and this has been protected.
Got it.
Got it, Suraj? So probably this misconception is going to be clear when we do step by step this all things, like the session is going to be covered step by step. Then we cover the DOS. We understand the use case, how the use case of the DOS production is going to be happen, how the URL filtering is going to come in a picture, how the vulnerability profile is going to come in a picture, and policy is going to, how the content. So because we are discussing the content, so this content ID is something. Let's suppose I'm giving the example. I have one of the packet. Let's suppose this is my packet. So this packet is going to carry multiple information. So I'm just going to like the source IP, destination IP, source port, destination port. Okay, this is going to have the application, right? And we have some other field also, right? And finally we have the data, and this is also known as the content. So this source IP, destination IP is nothing L3 detail. This source port, destination port is nothing L4. This is the application is L7. So definitely any packet having the MAC address, that is L2, I didn't capture here, but L3 the IP, L4 is your port numbers like port 80, port 443, and L7 is like my application, and there is some additional field which I explain later stage. And finally data is actually your payload, that is your Excel file or Word file or whatever you are going to send over the internet, or the note file, that having a different kind of the content is passing through that, any attachment, any movie download. So if that content having any kind of the virus, spying activity, vulnerability, URL, DOS attack kind of thing, data filtering, so those are going to be protected. So most of the malicious things happening based on your content. So content must be inspected, content must be protected in network, to just make sure whatever transition is going to happen through my network, that is always going to be safe, and it is just not going to breach my company data policy, any not unwanted virus is going to be downloaded in my computer, so who is going to infect my entire LAN infrastructure, any not spying activity is going to happen, any vulnerability activity. So these are the very powerful. That's why it's become the next generation firewall. Earlier in the old legacy firewall, probably we will discuss tomorrow what is a legacy firewall, what is a next generation firewall, then we'll understand about in more detail, because today is the first class, so I'm just giving the overview. But tomorrow definitely we are going to discuss about the legacy firewall and what is the stateful firewall, what is the stateless firewall, and then we understand how firewall is going to protect in terms of the previous version and the new version. So content ID and the application ID. This application ID is just going to recognize all the application, and if you check in the how many application available, you just go in the Google or just simply type applipedia.paloaltonetwork.com. Let me share this link. Okay, you guys can do some research before the next class. Okay, so just go in the Google and check it. So these are the well-known application available on the Palo Alto Firewall. So these Palo Alto Firewall real-time application, you can just always go, and after going this particular firewall, you can simply find 4,602 application is available, and these application real time you can see in the firewall as well. Might be this firewall is have the not recent update, so you have the little bit application available here. Let me show you. So if you go here, you are going to find that how many applications? 3,416 applications. But here is the real-time application, which is the Palo Alto firewall we have. So once we update our firewall also with the latest progress or like the latest content update, then it is going to give the same values. But yes, this is the 4,602 firewall means application available. And if you just find any well-known application, Facebook, this is the part of this particular application. See, Facebook having a lot of section. If you just find the WhatsApp, it is also available. You just find the YouTube, it is also available. So any application you find in mobile, probably it is going to available, and based on these applications you can create the policy, you can apply the policy, and your firewall is going to allow or disallow of your application. So these are the very powerful even the application point of view. So content ID, application ID, both are the next generation feature of the Palo Alto. And wildfire, that is a file blocking. File blocking means any type file you want to block, like PDF file you want to block, you Word file you want to block, Excel file you want to block, any zip file you want to block, any RAR file you want to block. So there's a lot of file type. If I go here, let me show you any file type you want to block, that is available, and you can block anytime those file types. See here. So different 7G, BAD, CAB, CGM, class, CPI, CPL, DLL file. So you can see encrypted RAR, lot of things are available. If you want to block it, it is going to block. Wildfire is a very important thing. What is the wildfire? I'm just giving the overview. Later we understand do the deep dive in the lab testing also. Wildfire is a zero-day attack. Let's say suppose I have something which is how can I explain? Yes, you can just take an example. COVID was there, right? We have a lot of medicine available in the market, but when COVID was just hit the market globally, then no vaccine was available. So if vaccine was already available, then probably we can save a lot of lives, a lot of people health. But due to unavailability of the vaccine, it was affected all over the world, and later we created the vaccine and protected our people. So the wildfire is going to act as a proactive vaccine for you. Let's say suppose any new disease is going to come in a market. So wildfire is going to analyze those symptoms which is new in the market, and based on those new system, they are going to generate the new vaccine, so that quickly within the 15 to 30 minutes, you are going to get the vaccine and you are going to protect from those virus. Similarly, in the Palo Alto network, if any vulnerability attack is going to happen, any virus is going to come big picture, any malware is going to happen, any spying activity is going to happen, if those are new in the market and they are trying to attack in your system, and for that I don't have signature to protect, in that case I'm just going to connect with my wildfire quickly give me the signature, and I'm going to be protected. So we'll discuss how, I just give the simple examples, but in detail we'll discuss in later stage, and we'll do the configuration as well. The next one is the SSL decryption. This is the next level thing, how we can encrypt and decrypt the SSL traffic, which are the highly encrypted traffic, HTTPS, any banking site, any kind of the, I can say, secure site. So how inbound SSL encryption is going to happen, how outbound inspection is going to happen, certificate management, how it is going to happen, how basically we can integrate the AD with the firewall, real-time AD integration, how we can apply the traffic based on the AD communication. Those are going to be happen, and the VPN concept we are going to configure. So AD is also very important. Decryption is the next level things. Being the L3, you should know that about L2, L3 or L4, this concept, VPN concept, IPsec, side-to-side tunnel, global protect. We are going to the full lab testing, IPsec full lab testing, management reporting, dashboard, basic logging, reporting, panorama concept. We are going to understand how the pre-rule, post-rule, how the device template, feature template is going to be configured there, and how basically we can enable that, like the firewall on the particular panorama, how to integrate that we are going to understand. And finally we end with the high ability. That is, the high ability is the active passive and active active. So those are going to be done, and these labs are completely available here, you guys can see. So everything which I am explained, like active active, active passive, these labs are there. Side to side VPN, if you want to see the user ID, content ID, these labs, vwire, tap mode, you can see layer 2, multi-VLANs, inter-VLANs, like we have the interface, some test lab, panorama labs, so global protect. So all are available. So whatever section I just explained, these are going to cover throughout the session. Lab is going to be available. That lab is going to be accessible 24/7, right? The upgradation is going to happen on this weekend, so probably we have the more powerful labs are available, because there is a huge load on the current setup due to the multiple concurrent setup. So this weekend we are upgrading the our lab system also, where we can cater the multiple users or hundreds of users at the same time. So this is also going to upgrade in very soon. Devices are ready, just we have to make them live, and it is going to be accessible 24/7. Anywhere you just go and do the lab section, and that's all about this today's session. And I just wanted to give some highlight about this particular section of the Palo Alto Firewall, and you have the dream to become the network security engineer. So if you have this particular set of the knowledge, let me, because we are also talking about network engineer program, where we're discussing about the CCNS, CCNP in core, NRC, and the Palo Alto. So if you have the knowledge about the CCNA, right, and you want to migrate in the security, or you want to become the network security engineer, so you just have to like follow these steps, and keep learning about these technologies. And at the same time, Palo Alto, FortiGate, or Checkpoint firewall, either of the firewall you're going to choose, and just learn about it, and just upgrade yourself and get the high package from the market. Okay, so now the question, whatever you want to ask, please ask to me. Anything if you have, you just ask to me. The session is going to be available on the Monday to Saturday, Sunday, 10 to 12:30. Okay, and it is going to be happen almost 2 months or 2.5 months, right? We'll complete this entire session, because we have to do a lot of deep dives on the session. So it is going to take time, almost 2.5 hours per day, Saturday, Sunday, almost 5 hours or 4+ hours we are going to cover, because we have to take some breaks as well. So we'll do the lab, we do the theoretical stuffs, and then we go step by step, deeper and deeper. Some troubleshooting part also we are going to cover, right? Special session I'm going to arrange for the previous batch and some old students as well. So that is also going to be happen. You guys going to enjoy what is going to happen in the packet level, how the debug is going to happen, how the packet capturing is going to be happen. So that's kind of the benefits definitely is going to be happen here. Any questions, any suggestion, any feedback, guys?
Sorry, when you refer to packet capturing, we are going to capture the packet through Wireshark, right?
Yes, packet capturing feature is already available here. If you want to do the packet capture, this packet capture is going to be happen, and once you do the packet capture, it is always going to open in the Wireshark. So if I just open it, let me show here. let me put it here, drop. So this is going to capture the packet, and this is going to be open always in the wire. So this is the one step of this packet capturing. Debug is second step of the packet capturing. So this packet capturing give the some idea what is happening through my network, but debug is something is going to give you like exact thing why this packet has been dropped in the firewalls, right? And what is the basically possible case to fix this particular issue in the firewall. So that is going to happen in debug. So debug, basically if I go in a debug, let me show you some, let me open this troubleshooting. So we have something known as the, yes, this is how to run the packet capture. So on CLI step by step, we have the packet capture, and you want to do the pickup and like how you can do the flow basic packet capture. So feature flow basics. So this is going to be initiate the traffic once you enable the filtering, and this is going to capture the packet is going to look like in this format. You can see the L2, L3 and slow path, fast path, ingress, egress, everything you are going to get here, and I will definitely going to show in the one session I'm going to arrange, and we are going to discuss about this all. But yes, definitely the all this drop feature, this is going to be available. So right now there is no communication through the firewall, that's why you will not see any kind of the packet here. But once you have the any communication in the firewall, you're going to see the packet here. It is going to be available. Now you can see this packet is available, so it is capture some packet. So if I simply download this, if I just go and I click it here, so see this drop packet has been open. If I just open this, so I can just open, so it is going to be open in the Wireshark, and you can see this is the packet. So you can see in the Wireshark as well. If you want to merge some file, so if you want to merge this, it is going to merge both files. So you can see this is my PC IP address, this is my destination, the TCP, whatever you want to filter, you can just filter it, different multicast packet also it is going on. Clear, Suraj?
Yep, no problem. Got it.
All right, guys, any other questions? Are we good? Because
No,
this
sir. Good.
yeah, so because we are in the first step of this particular session, right? So I'm not going to much discussion about the theoretical stuff. Tomorrow we'll do some discussion, and that's the most important discussion. Don't miss the session. I'm going to discuss about the because it's still fundamental of the firewall. So what I'm going to discuss tomorrow, we are discuss about this, how the firewall is going to protect you, why we need a firewall, and in addition of that, one more thing we are going to discuss tomorrow is the stateful versus stateless firewall, right? And also we are going to discuss what is the firewall, what is the proxy, because they are the very confusing things and we should know about it. So stay tuned, right? Yeah, and you keep in touch with us, right? And we provide the Zoom links, and if you have any query, you can just reach out to the, let me say, you just fill the Google form, right? And reach out to us for the one-to-ones, like the discussion, and definitely we'll try to help out for the any suggestion, any feedback if you required. Okay. So thank you so much. See you again. Bye bye. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.